Hello, everybody. Becky here at Beck's Creation. And as you can tell, I'm still having problems with my throat. And I'm not going to stay on long. I'm going to share a Goodwill haul, maybe talk about the quilt behind me. And can you hear me, Kathy? I've got the computer here where I can see. I just want to make sure I have sound before I go too far because I have very little sound. Okay, awesome. Let me sip the tea. Saltwater rinse is helping, but if this continues into tomorrow, I'll go to the doctor. Hi, Angie. Hi, Sharon. So we went to Goodwill and we went to Salvation Army, but we didn't buy anything at Salvation Army yesterday because it was pretty picked over and the people that were shopping in there were downright rude. And yeah, I don't know what this is. It landed in my throat when I woke up Saturday morning, I think it started. And it just felt like I have something stuck in my throat right about here. And it's really sore. Not so much right now because I've taken Tylenol. I've done a saltwater rinse. So I sound weird, but it's not really killing me at the moment. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I was hoping I would be better by now too. Scott has a fever blister. He was talking about his throat was starting to hurt yesterday. And I'm like, oh God, don't let him catch whatever I have and I have only been to the grocery store. And then I went out to lunch with my sister and she wasn't sick. Didn't get near anybody. Although when I went grocery shopping Friday, I guess, or Thursday, the man that was ringing me out, he was really sick. So everything he touched probably had germs on it. So anyway, I'm almost on the verge of going back to wearing a mask every time I leave the house because I seem to catch everything. Ever since having COVID, it seems like I am more susceptible. And I told Scott another thing. We have been more sick since we moved down here from Greenville. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, hi, Teresa. Hi, Angie. Ann. I think that's everybody. Thank you, Nettie. Nettie, my sister, crafty sister. Y'all are sisters. That's all there is to it. Crafty sisters. So let's talk about the bins first. I got a little bag there. I spent like $1.89 at the bins. And all I got was this skein of white yarn. And then I got a skein of size 10 white crochet cotton. Even though I already have a tub, like a 25-gallon tub full of this stuff, if I can save it from the bins, I will. And then I got cream, and this one's never even been opened. But it's got this beautiful doily pattern on the side of it. And it's made with 1, 2, 3 different colors, I think. So I might make that doily. I have some colored threads. Oh, yeah, this was my receipt. 1 pound for $1.89. If you're under a pound, they just charge you for a full pound of stuff. Yeah, I don't. And they changed the pricing. To me, anything that makes it to the bins should be by the pound. Like the books should be 75 cents per pound, and everything else should be like $1.89 a pound. Well, like I found out, is whoever's at the register determines if something is now a by the item price. Like she wanted to charge me $3 a piece for those canvases that I was going to get. That would have been $9. And I'm like, they don't weigh anything. Why are they so much? Well, they're $3 a piece. And I'm like, where does it say? How will I know what's a by the piece? If it's by the piece, it should be in the retail store. That's my way of thinking. That's exactly what I'm thinking. So anyway, back to the store side. I found this one skein for $1.99 because you remember my rule, not over $2 for acrylic yarn. But it's never been used. It's a Brene Baby Coordinates, and it's the kind that has, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little white thread runs through it. Let's close this curtain. Sorry, Howie, I'm just closing the curtain behind you. I've got too much sun going on, but you can see there's like a thread in it that wraps around the yarn, and it's got an Afghan pattern inside it for a baby. So that was $1.99. I see I could pair it with this and make a blanket. I got too much light on me. It makes everything glow. I did. I didn't buy them, Angie. I said, I'm not getting those. So I left them there. And then this was $3.99, but yesterday was Old Fart Tuesday, so I got 25% off. And it's just a frame from Hobby Lobby. It was normally $8.99 at Hobby Lobby. I bought it for $3.99, so basically their sale price. But I bought it. And I don't know if this is going to fit in here. This is a piece of art that I bought a while ago for $3.79, but the artist was selling it for $29. But I got it for $3.79, and knowing me, we probably got it on Old Fart Tuesday, but I was thinking it would fit, and I think it is. So I can finally hang my bees. I am so tickled that it looked like it would fit, and I was like, oh, I hope that fits. I think I can make this work. So yay, I'll hang these bees over by the other thrifted art I have over there. And I keep watching because I don't want to even pay sale price, really. This was more, but I had 25% off. That's why I went ahead and went for it. But I want to find a bunch of frames because I got Carol's art and I got some Dee Dee art, and I want to get it framed so I can hang it on the walls in here. But again, I don't want to buy store price things. That's why I keep watching. And all of the flowers, the by the month flowers that I bought, they're sitting in a corner over there. And the reason they haven't been hung yet is some of the frames I want to paint, and I want to clean all of the glass inside and out before I hang the flowers. So that's why they're waiting. I need to just spread out a bunch of towels on the dining room table and just start cleaning those, get the frames painted that I want now that it's not cold, because, paint doesn't set well outside if it's cold. So Teresa says she's crocheting a teddy bear baby blanket. Oh, those are so cute. I need to get a sip of tea. Sorry, guys, I'm drinking in front of you. This was from the bins, this mug, and if you look at the bottom, it's signed by the artist. $1.89 a pound. All right. This is something I picked up because it's batik. Somebody had started a quilt, and there's some bricks or squares right there, and then there's like a jelly roll in there. Let's pull them out and look at them. But this alone was worth the $5. This was $4.99 for what's in this bag, because this is normally $9.99. This is a batik fabric bundle, and I got the blocks, this bundle, and this little stack here. Oh, this is more, I think this is more strips. I hate when people leave pins in fabric because if they rust, then it ruins the fabric. Oh, I bet this is for binding. But and it's in some of my favorite colors. So I said, I'll get those. Let's look at the blocks. I didn't even look at the blocks. I just told Scott, I'm getting that. I'll save that bag so I can put this back in. So let's look at the blocks. And I can tell you right now that whoever did this doesn't understand color very well. Um, there's not enough color variation in this, but maybe they were going by a class. Who knows? I would have put more color variation in it myself. You can see, but mine back here. It looks like the block is all the same block where you have 4 triangles, and then these triangles are made out of strips because they're like half and half. And then they switch. See, this is better because there's color variation. You can see the center block, and then you can see the variance here in the half sectioned triangles. That's what you want. But if we put 2 of these together, what's going to happen is you line up the half square triangle things. I don't know if they even did it so you could do that. But it's supposed to look like ribbons. I can tell you, it's supposed to look like ribbons that wrap around and connect. So I don't know. I'll have to look at them closer later. I think they got a little bit confused on which was the right side because that's the right side of this fabric. Sometimes it's really hard to tell, especially with batiks because the dye goes all the way through. But there is a difference between the right and the wrong side, and you can really tell it. This side looks kind of pale, but if you flip it over, these values match the values in the other fabrics. So if you've got a fabric that you're working with and you can't tell right or wrong side, get the fabrics that you're going to be using it with and see if the vibrancy matches the vibrancy of the other fabrics. That's just a little quilt tip I have. That way you know if you're right or wrong sided. Hi, Kendra. So yeah, they had just a little bit of trouble seeing right and wrong side, but I'm still going to do this up into a quilt. And there's enough blocks here to make probably a full-size quilt. And then I can use my thrifted quilt frames. We can set one of those up. Maybe we can sit and stitch together sometime. And I see Kathy's, yeah, there's plenty here. Kathy's getting her room all fixed up. She's been doing little updates on Facebook. It's been fun watching you get your room back together. But what a job. Believe me, I know. Trying not to get too close to that mic so I zonk you guys out. Now that one's really pretty. I'm just going through these because I want to see what they look like. Oh, this one's pretty with the leaves on the center fabric. That is so pretty. Now this one is different because they've done a square in the middle. I'm not sure what's going on there. It's very interesting. Maybe this was just somebody's first quilt and they gave up. Don't give up. Just keep pressing forward. Even if it doesn't look like somebody else's quilt, it will be your quilt. And don't send it off to the Goodwill. That one's beautiful with that. I love the flower printed on top of the batik. Something fell. I heard a pin fall. I will have to find that so I don't step on it later. Yeah, these all have, there's some with the pieced square in the middle. But somebody had a really good start to a quilt and then stopped. You know what would make these really pretty is black sashing. Put a sashing in between these blocks. Since they're different. And there's no pattern with it. This is just some blocks. So I think I can pull this in together. I'll lay it out on the floor like I did with my quilt that's behind us. I'm going to talk about that here in just a second. Let me put these blocks back in here. Yeah, this will be fun to play with. See if I can get the blocks to lay flat. If not, I'm not going to worry about it. Scott's home today, so we're going to make a run to the post office to drop some things in, and I don't know what his plan is. He's not feeling 100% either. So that was another quilt project for me. But for $5, all those blocks already made, I can't beat that. And then I got 25% off. Then we were waiting in the line, and I look up and I see this. Another one of those fabric bundles. And I don't have scissors nearby. I got to remember, I got to look for a pin. Let me cut this real quick. This feels like a twill. I'll get my dust mop and go over this floor. I've already serged the edges on all that other fabric and washed it, so it's ready to be made into stuff. I told Scott, I said, I think there's enough there for a pair of shorts. Maybe more, because this is a yard, almost 2 yards. It's been cut. Something was cut out of it, so this is like the leftovers of it. But I think it's a twill. And I thought it was pretty cool. You're going over to the other house to work on it? Yeah, I don't know. Oh, excuse me. They've had Greg building pallets at his job because the freight hadn't been coming in. So they've had him building pallets. Well, he's also been working on that car, him and Scott both, and bending over into that great big car's engine. They both are kind of sore. So, and then with him building pallets at work, he comes home in the morning. He gets home between 3 and 6. He just crashes. That's my son, Greg. Hi, Kelly, or Kel. Sorry, I keep wiping my nose, but it's itchy. And I've taken allergy medicine and all of that. Let's talk about this quilt real quick before I go. And guess who's going on a cruise next August? Oh, I've been on one cruise, and it went to Nassau in the Bahamas, Puerto Rico, and St. Thomas. So I've been down there, and that's the only vacation like that I've ever done in my entire life. And the farthest west I've been is Nashville, when I was being trained to work at Cracker Barrel, which that's a story we don't need to go to. But I had fun during the training and stuff, but I was glad to get back home. But that's the farthest west I've been. And I've been from New York to Florida, and stopping in the States in between. And I've been to Illinois for Greg's pass and review ceremony back in 2008. So it's been a while. The only thing about the ship travel is you're kind of in a petri dish. Make sure you take some, if they'll let you, take hand sanitizer, because, it's a petri dish. Everybody's there. You're in the same place. It's a big ship, but you go into the same dining rooms. You go into, same theaters and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I would still make sure. My first one to the Caribbean. Cool. Yep, it's a petri dish. So this quilt here I have a box under my table. I love having things in carts that I can just roll out of the way. I have this box. Look at my outfit. See, Ann, I'm wearing some of them socks. Woo! Don't I look stylish? Anne was sweet and gifted me some pressure socks, which was awesome because I've been having some weird swelling in my left leg. Nurse practitioner is watching it, so she knows. But I have things like this came from Jordan Fabrics. I bought a Darlene's Favorites 1940s charm pack. And then this was some charms. Charms are generally 5 inches square. This one came from Big Lots, and it's paisley and flowers. And there's probably enough to make a table runner or topper with these. It's just got various things. This is some of that bias that I made myself for that last project I did. This was some 2.5 inch squares from a swap. This just catches the random stuff. And I had a big stack of 4.5 inch blocks that I'd cut out and some 2.5 inch blocks. So that's where this quilt started. And after I got the 4.5 and the 2.5 kind of laid out like I wanted, I went to my stash and I tried to find a cream that I had enough of to do all these bricks. Bricks are rectangles because they look like bricks. So I went and I only had the one half a yard of this off-white. So I started cutting and I had just enough to do the sashing. And then I went to the bins that live under our bed. That's where I keep my quilting cotton, is under our bed in bins, trying to work my way through a bunch of different things. I've used the quilter's cotton that I have for Project Dress a Girl. I've made a bunch of quilt tops, which I need to get past the whole making quilt tops and get some made into quilts for us. And so that's what I do with this box. And as I'm working on a quilt, or a lot of these squares are actually leftovers from Project Dress a Girl, any scraps I have, before I toss anything, I cut as many 2, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 5 inch, any kind of size that I can get a quantity out of. I just cut them up. So they go in a box like this. And then when I get a wild hair where I want to make a baby quilt like this is actually crib size. I can throw one together rather quickly. I have a niece that's trying for number 2. So I figured if I make the quilt now, I'll have it. And if it's in multiple colors, it can go for either gender. Angie's having surgery May the 10th. Marty's here. Hi, Marty. So I'm going to show you the quilt. It's on Gretchen right now. I've posted pictures on Instagram. So what you see is the 4.5 inch blocks, 2.5 inch squares, and then the bricks were cut 2.5 by 4.5. And I did them in rows, each row. And then I did them in rows this way, the opposite way. The narrow stripe here is made by sewing 4.5 inch blocks together. And then I cut them in half. So that'd be 2.25. And then this has been cut down from that. 2.25. These were just really narrow. Yeah, they're 2.25. And after you sew them on, they end up being 1 3/4 inch strips, I think. No, something like that. These were 4-inch blocks. It's been a minute. I've slept since I did this. So yeah, I ran out of the red. The red was something I had in the boxes under the bed. So I didn't have quite enough to finish the 2 long sides. So I made bricks out of some of the 4.5 inch squares. So I cut them at 2.5. So, and then I just did some random ones, and I did the same ones for each corner. So they're they fill in. And I think it turned out really good. I really like it a lot. You can see Callie cleaning in the background. This was the strip I made with the 4.5 inch blocks. And I can tell you what I did. See, I sewed the 4.5 inch blocks together, and then these were cut to 1.25 inches. So this ends up being a 3/4 inch stripe here. And I just love how it pops around the edge. The borders are a 2.5 inch strip and a 4.5 inch strip to pull the sizes that I used in the quilt to the border. And then this 3/4 inch, when you get it sewn, because you use 1/4 inch seams in quilting, you end up with a 3/4 inch narrow strip. And I've got to look in my stash. What I was thinking is I'm going to see if I have some of these quilts, these fabrics in my bins. Even if I just piece a back with the same fabrics, it'll all tie together. And hopefully all the seams won't line up so I have super bulky seams to go over. But it's so much fun to use your scraps and make something like this. This was made from leftovers that I cut into squares to just have at the ready. And I just kind of laid them out. And then I took, and I shared this on Instagram. If you're not certain if you've got color balance, turn it into grayscale. Turn your fabric into a grayscale picture, and then you can see where your values are heavy or where they're too light. Mr. Scott's sneaking through. So, yeah. Yep. Piecing for the back is as acceptable as piecing for the front as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to work on that over the next couple days. I need to go out and mow the lawn. My voice is actually loosening up talking, so I've been so protective of it because it's hurt so bad. Nettie says, good morning, Scott. Kathy says, hi,
good
Scott.
Good morning, everybody.
And
the cat seems most annoyed with me.
Yeah.
Making a crinkling sound.
Well, you're making crinkling sound and you're making vibrations on that desk. She's trying to groom upon. What do you even like, as Janet Nash would say?
I know. Not meeting the cat's needs.
So he's just filled out Publishers Clearinghouse for Mother. So we'll take that. Now you're being stalked by the female cat. She's like, well, you woke me up. Come on.
Oh, she didn't realize this door was closed.
Yeah.
I closed the door.
You cannot have closed doors here. Not acceptable. He's gotten a stamp to stick on the Publishers Clearinghouse. So I was watching Dee Dee, and Mary was so sweet and gifted me some wax seals and a wax melting kit thing recently. So I've got some. And I was watching Dee Dee. I'm going to go watch Rita. What did she call her? What was that channel Dee Dee was talking about? Messy Rita? Something like that. She does wax seals, and she shows how to put one color on the seal and then you scrape it away. So the wax is only in the indentations. You clear the top of it somehow. I need to go watch hers. And so you don't put a ton of wax down or on the top of it. You put a little wax and you kind of scrape it into the indentations. And then she puts a puddle on the mat and then puts that's got the wax already in the indentations into the melted wax, and it sets it down in as a different color in the middle of it, which sounds really. You can't find her either, Angie. Maybe Dee Dee will do that for us. I know Mary located her, so maybe Mary can pop it in the chat below this video if she sees this video. All right, guys, throat is starting to hurt, so I think I'm gonna go. And Dee Dee is encouraging me to maybe open a shop. I don't know. She says, you should sell these. You know how Dee Dee is. So I will think about it. You all take care. I'm going to do my best to get better before next week. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.